Well, just a little roadmap, Judge. Mr. Hinton had some issues with the visitation being supervised and things. When the parties separated, there was an altercation. He was charged with domestic. Since that time, he's been in court. He's gotten it all dismissed. Should be all expunged from his record. And some of the things that he's had to do in the process, we're looking to testify on all of those things. And we're just asking for, going into the final hearing, so sort of reasonable unsupervised visitation at this point.
Your Honor, in looking at the court file, I believe there may be an order missing.
You show that they're waiting on an order from February 29th of 2024.
Yes,
and
sir.
October 22nd of 2024.
Okay. Well, in the court's last hearing, the mother was designated. We initially came before Judge Wallace on the first hearing. Mr. Hinton was served. We came before the court. He was pro se at the time, if I remember correctly. And let's pull that order. And that was January of 2024. He was served with process and given notice of the hearing, and he failed to appear. And at that point in time, the court extended. There was an ex parte order of protection, and the order of protection was extended. And the mother was designated primary residence parents. Parties have 2 children. Mr. Holly then got involved in the case, and we came back before the court. And the mother had enrolled the children in counseling. And at that point in time, he had to finish a domestic violence class that he was scheduled to finish in November. And then they would follow the recommendations of Ms. Hale, the counselor, and his paramour, now mother of his illegitimate child, Alexis Garcia, was not to be around or exposed to the children in any way, regardless of whatever their relationship was. He has been given visitation at his parents' home under the supervision of his stepfather, who believe is in court, and the rule is called for. So we would ask anybody that.
But the rule is called for, which means that anyone who's going to be a witness other than the parties must go outside of the courtroom and remain outside of the courtroom until you're called to testify. You're not to discuss the testimony of any other witness with anyone until you yourself have finished testifying. Counselor under a continuing duty to ensure that the rule is complied with.
So, Your Honor, the circumstances have arisen, Your Honor, in the fact that the children are still in counseling. Mr. Hinton has continued his relationship with the paramour. The previous testimony that was before the court is that he began having a extramarital affair with his daughter's cheer coach, and who again, the daughter was friends with their child. He had this illicit affair that resulted in her becoming impregnated, and they have now had a child together. The daughter and the son are both still experiencing significant issues with the fact that their father has abandoned them and seems to move on with his other family. The daughter in particular is still having issues. My client has continually carried the children to counselors. She's still in counseling, going every 2 weeks, and has still issues. He's having visitation again at his mother's home under the supervision of his stepfather. And it's our position, Your Honor, that we don't have a problem with him having unsupervised visitation so long as the visitation occurs at the paternal grandparents' home. We do not believe it's necessary to have eyes on the children. They're articulate. We will likely have them come to the hearing and ask for testimony. The counselor will be here at the final hearing. But again, there's been, the testimony is going to show, and the text message between the parties, he has continually neglected the children in the respect. Most recently, the testimony will show that they both participate in junior pro. The little boy, again, plays football. The daughter cheerleads. He comes and does the obligatory, hey, I'm there, and then leaves and goes. He's neglected coming to visitation. We've had to change it multiple times, as we understand. His paramour is depending and takes his vehicle And therefore, he doesn't have any way to come to visitation. He's been late and not notified the mother. She's dropped the kids off. 2 hours later, he'll text and say, "Hey, look, I'm not going to be able to get there." So again, it's just a situation that he has moved on with his life, but the kids are adjusting. We still think it's imperative that this woman who violated the sanctity of this marriage, who this little girl looked up to and was a coach, that she still not be around these children at all, period. And again, we don't have any issue with him having unsupervised visits so long as his paramour is not around. And there is no introduction to this new child until a counselor says that it's appropriate. His trustworthiness and veracity has been called into question at previous hearings. And that's why we want the visitation to remain at his parents' home.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
can you, I know you have someplace you probably need to be. Is there anything you want to report about your case before we start this contested hearing?
And I spoke with Ms. Wilson. She was not willing to bring anything. I texted and called Mr. Knowles with no luck.
He's out of town.
I texted him and just said, "Can you give me a quick call? I'm texting Judge Wood's request." So,
We'll come back to it.
yes, thank you.
All right.
Joe Thomas, Judge, be my first witness.
You'll come up.
He's down in the hall. Snag him. The supervisor of the visits. Stepfather.
Right up here, sir. You raise your right hand with the close face on your.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
You see, pull that chair up so you're close to that microphone. There you go.
State your name for the court, please.
Circumstances have arisen.
And Mr. Thomas, you're the supervisor for the visitation, correct?
That is correct.
When did you begin supervising visits?
At the order of this court, I don't remember the exact date, but on the requirement of the court.
How often were the visits scheduled for?
Once a week.
Okay. And you're Mr. Hinton's stepfather, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what's your occupation, sir?
Montgomery County Sheriff's Office command staff.
Ballpark figure, how many visitations would you say you supervised with Mr. Hinton and his children?
Honestly, I didn't keep up with it, but everyone, I mean, it's I have a very hard time with spatial or time spatial, but I would say 15 to 20.
Okay. Explain to the court, I'm going to be open to any question here. Explain to the court what you witnessed at the visitations that were positive, that Mr. Hinton and his children, how they reacted, what all the positives did you take away from the generalization of you being the supervisor over this period of time?
Normally, we would meet them at the door as they would arrive and just watch the kids smile, be extremely excited to see the father. Was quite welcoming because the statement was they were afraid of. I never witnessed any of that. They always seemed to be extremely happy. They would share time. Even the worst thing would be upon departure, whenever we tell them it was time to go, they would oftentimes notice a
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained, you cannot repeat what another person has said outside of the court.
Well, you can't repeat what somebody said. I thought you said you noticed. You can talk about what you've witnessed.
I observed the kids once they were told it was time to leave, in which they would become withdrawn, sad.
Can you describe that in more detail when you say they were withdrawn and sad? specifically were those behaviors?
Just really, just withdrawn, not really. Yes, they wanted to go, but they also would express a desire to be, for the visits to be long.
What was Mr.
Your Honor,
Hinton's?
again, I don't have a problem with him saying their mannerisms, what they've done, but an interpretation of those mannerisms, I believe, calls for speculation and inappropriate opinion testimony.
I overrule the objection as to his observation of what he believes their behavior was, but he had made a statement regarding what the children said again, which I will sustain an objection to that.
All right, so, new question here. So, in your role as a supervisor, what types of activities did Mr. Hinton do with his children during this time?
They would play video games, they would sit, just spend time together. From the standpoint of reading, but also in the yard, tossing football, soccer ball, and playing.
So we're gonna ask basically the same question, but with anything negative. During your time as a supervisor, during your time witnessing the supervision between Mr. Hinton and the two children, if anything, what negatives did you witness during the visitations?
Just changing demeanor when it would become time to leave.
Have you had a chance to, let's strike that. How long were the visitations? Can you answer that question? When they would come, how long were the visitations?
8 to 12, 8 to 4, different days.
So have you had a chance to witness Mr. Hinton also with his new baby's mother, Alexis, and that baby?
Yes,
What type of, again, same question, what type of things have you witnessed that would be positive in their relationship with their child?
basically that he acted as a father, embraced the child, showed love and support toward that child.
That's all I had, Judge.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you actually started supervising visitation in December, is that correct?
Correct.
Specifically December 25th of 2024, the day you actually started on Christmas Day. Okay. And then throughout the course of this, there have been, Miss Hinton has been willing when Mr. Hinton has had an issue or the kids have been sick. Y'all have been able to work together to sometimes have double visitation on a day to make up for time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You've had issues when you've had to be doing things when you've been unavailable, and they've worked, and she's been more than happy to work around that schedule, correct?
Absolutely.
She drops the kids off on time, picks them up on time.
Correct.
But you can't say the same for your stepson, can you? He's oftentimes doesn't show up on time for visitation. Particularly here recently, you had the kids for 2 hours before he showed up. You recall that? When he had car trouble?
There was a time, yes.
Yeah, there's other occasions other than that, but here most recently, she dropped the kids off on time, and 2 hours into the visitation, he called. And did he not and say, I'm having vehicle trouble?
That is correct.
Did he report some issue on why he couldn't call before the kids showed up, thinking they were going to see their dad?
No.
And in fact, he didn't have car trouble. His girlfriend had his car, didn't she?
I don't know.
Did you see her? You knew she was driving the car. He didn't tell you that she actually left and took the car?
No.
Okay. Did you go to the kids' homecoming festivities the other day?
Yes,
And your stepson left. You didn't watch his son play ball or his daughter cheer, did you?
No.
And again, I apologize. My question was very inartfully asked. He came and watched them through the procession line.
He was present for the homecoming ceremony.
And then he left and didn't watch him play
Correct.
or cheer. Do you know where he went?
No.
Was there some reason that he articulated to you or did anything on why he didn't come and watch the kids?
In order for him to be there, I would have had to be present as well. And I was not able to be present.
Okay. So you weren't there at all,
I was there for the homecoming ceremony.
and then you left.
Yes,
Okay. So you think in compliance with the order he left?
correct.
Okay. But he didn't stay and watch them
It was
and
not,
have no contact
it
with
was
them?
not permissible.
He couldn't stay at a public event? Is that what you've been
That
advised?
was the interpretation all this time. Therefore, he has missed out on a lot of ball games because I could not be present. Yes, ma'am. That is how I interpret it.
Have you witnessed your granddaughter have anxiety and being upset over not having a very close relationship with her dad anymore?
Initially, there was some apprehension, but not lately.
They enjoy their time.
Yes,
Okay. But you still know he's with this other woman and has had a child with another woman?
that's correct.
Okay. And do they come to your home? Is that where you said you've seen them?
Yes,
Okay. But you don't have you're not knowledgeable about any of the therapy or any of the stress or the anxiety that your granddaughter or your grandson has experienced?
no,
So you can't dispute that. They're upset and are still dealing with the fact that their father has left their family.
I can address the behavior that I observed when they were in my presence.
And in that, Ms. Hinton has been cooperative and allowed makeup and cooperated with that visitation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir.
Anything further, Mr. Hawley?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Mr. Hawley, you may call your next witness.
Stefan Hinton.
And if you'll step around, raise your right hand and place on your.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall now give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
State your name for the court.
Stefan and
Mr. Hinton, you have two children, correct, with Ms. Talisa?
correct.
And can you state their names?
TJ Hinton, Gabriella Hinton,
How old are they?
11 and 9.
When this got started, you heard Ms. Roberts talk about the beginning of it. You weren't here, or your protection got granted. There were domestic charges. All that's accurate, correct?
Yes, sir.
So there was an altercation when you separated.
Yes, sir.
What did you wind up getting charged with?
Domestic assault.
And there was one count of domestic assault, correct?
Correct.
And what county was that in?
Humphreys.
And what was the overall disposition of that charge?
It was to take the anger management classes. I believe it was 12 hours of it. There was also another domestic course that I needed to take. I had to do a little bit of therapy as well. And I believe that was it.
Did you complete all those items?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then overall, once you completed all that, did you go back to court?
Yes, sir.
And what was the outcome of the case when you went back to court, having completed all of your action items?
So I believe we were supposed to come back to court and we had to reschedule. Is that not accurate? I'm not 100% sure.
What happened to the criminal case?
Oh, I'm sorry. It got dismissed and it got expunged.
Okay, so the domestic assault got dismissed and expunged.
Correct.
How long did it take you to do the, let's look at it, the anger management classes, 12 hours, your domestic violence classes, and the therapy that they had you do?
I believe it was a little bit around 4 months is what it took to complete that.
Did you accelerate that, the
No,
classes or anything, or did you just take them as they came?
as they came.
And as far as, having another female in your life, that's accurate too, correct?
Correct.
And her name is?
Alexis Garcia.
And actually, you didn't, and have never really denied that, have you?
No, sir.
In the answer to the complaint, you admitted to the adultery.
Yes, sir.
So during this course in time, you had supervised visitation, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had a chance to hear Mr. Thomas testify about that. And I'm going to ask you basically some of the same questions. When you started this supervised visitation, was it on December 25th, as Ms. Roberts stated?
Yes, sir.
And from December 25th, now we're looking into the month of October in the next year. You've had quite a few of these supervised visits, correct?
Correct.
So how often did you have the supervised visit scheduled for the court order?
It was every week. Originally it was alternating days between Saturday and Sunday, but we worked well as far as, if the kids had something going on and, swapping days or whatever we need to do.
Would you say that you and Ms. Talisa Hinton have worked well?
I believe so.
So let's talk about the actual visitation then with the kids. When they show up, walk us through an average visitation. What you do when you see the kids, what all kind of activities do you do?
So normally, as Joe mentioned, we meet them at the door. They normally come out the car running at me, hugging me, and this and that. We can go in and we can either be playing video games on trampoline, outside throwing ball. It really depends on what they want to do. We'll take rides out on a side by side that my parents have. It's really based on what they want to do, what they're feeling. It's kind of where I go with it.
Same question with negatives. Has there been any negatives that have happened during the visitations with your two children here that we need to address?
It's the same concerns that he had. It was when they're about to depart, or my mom tells them, "Hey, y'all need to go ahead and start gathering your stuff." The demeanor changes, and I mean that's about my only negative there.
All right. You had any words, Mr. Lisa had any words with you? You had any words with her at all during the visitations that we thought you need to address?
No, sir.
Okay. How do you guys routinely communicate?
Through text message.
Do you ever talk on the phone at all now?
Occasionally.
And then you have, again, another woman in your life. Her name is,
That's
where do you live with Miss Garcia?
229 Victory Lane. That's in Lakewood.
What kind of homestead is that? Is that a house, apartment, condo?
It's a trailer.
Trailer. And whose trailer is that?
It's hers.
Okay.
Well, correction. Are you talking about like renting or who owns it?
I'm talking about as far as
Or
right now for the
operates?
ability to stay over there. Is it in her name?
Yes.
Do you have a homestead in your name at all?
No, sir.
And you're primarily then, that would be your mother's house.
Correct.
And Mr. Thomas, correct? So, you've had a child with Alexis.
Correct.
How old is that child?
She's 9 months today.
Okay, that's a sibling to the other two.
Correct.
What's your position on your two children now with Mr. Lisa and wanting to have any type of contact with your now child with Miss Alexis?
Can you ask the question one more time? I'm sorry.
What kind of relationship you hope to establish between your children?
I would really like that they get the opportunity to be able to meet their sister, because regardless of the situation and how it occurred, that is still their sibling. And I would like them to be able to get together and get to know each other and be siblings.
You can't testify about what somebody said, but do you have any general knowledge that your two children know that they have a sibling?
Yes.
They do?
Correct.
Has it been hard to try to keep them separate with any questions that you're asked?
Say again.
Well, do your two children now, do they ever ask about their siblings?
Objection, hearsay.
Well, I'm not asking what they asked for. I'm asking if they ever did ask a question. I'm not trying to get into what they said.
Your question was, did they ever ask to see their sibling? And that in and of itself is, the answer to that would be including hearsay, because the question included hearsay. Sustain your objection.
All right. At the risk of another one, have they ever asked about their sibling?
And again, objection to the hearsay, even though maybe the statement wasn't made.
I'm gonna allow that one. I don't think it pretty well similar to the last one, but obviously it's already been asked and answered, so all of them.
So have there been any issues, or what issues have you had with working your time schedule to be able to have your visitation with your children and still conduct, time with your other siblings, time with their siblings?
So one of the issues that I run into is, for one, childcare. There's some weeks, so Alexis works on the weekends, and my mother is actually the one that watches her. So from that standpoint, that's kind of an issue, and I don't even know if this is part of your question, and I'll throw it in there. Things get a little difficult as far as even my phone calls, because there's days I will have this child with me, and solely me, and it's my time to call the kids, and I either gotta walk out of the room and try to keep an eye on her, or have my hand ready to mute the phone because I can't have that introduction.
Recently, you've had a couple of phone calls from Ms. Talisha wanting you to meet with your daughter. Is that accurate?
Right.
Can you explain kind of the context of that when Ms. Talisha called you? What was said? You could testify to what she said to you and what you said back to her, and kind of how it ended up and why it ended up that way.
Oh, absolutely. She called me and informed me that my daughter was having a panic attack, as they stated she's been having, and she informed me that she was unable to console her, and asked if I'd be willing to meet her somewhere in public. And due to the order of protection, I contacted you, and where she had supposedly contacted Miss Roberts, and there was nothing able to get done as far as the attorneys go to allow me to be able to go meet up with my daughter.
And felt like that if you did go at that time, that would be a violation of the order.
Right.
Why?
Because the way the order reads is, if my father is not there, then I have to have him.
Mr. Thomas.
Correct.
Yes.
He has to be there.
And that was something that reasoned out with your lawyer, and that's the way that it got left.
Correct. And she had also informed me that, she was okay with just me showing up without Joe. That's in writing as well, through a text message she had sent. But between talking to both of them and talking to you, it was deemed that it probably wasn't the best idea to go.
So do you wish you could have went?
Oh, absolutely. And I even told her that I'd be there in a heartbeat, and you informed me that Miss Roberts would just have to send you a text message saying it was okay and you'd be good with that. And I told her I'd be on the way. However, I didn't hear anything else afterwards.
Ms. Roberts talked about you being late for visitation, potentially missing a visitation. Have you been routinely late for visitations?
I have not been late.
Have you been late for
I
visitation?
have been late for one visitation, and that was due to some truck issues I have. And they stated, or Miss Roberts stated earlier, that it turns out that Alexis had my truck. She did not have my truck that day. I had full possession of my vehicle that day, and I was having truck issues. My phone was dead, charger wasn't working, and yes, it was late before I had informed her. There's been some other days that we've had to reschedule, and it kind of be last minute. For example, my daughter Cecilia got COVID, and it was kind of deemed that in the best interest of the kids, not exposing them to that. Let's cancel it. I did wait kind of last minute on it, was that when they hadn't even left the house yet. But it originally, whenever it was found she had COVID, I thought there was going to be enough time to last where she was going to get better and everything, and she was not better at that time, so didn't want to expose it.
Okay, so, did you testify you've been late for one visitation?
Correct.
All right. Do you feel like you'll work pretty well together during the late and missed visitations?
I believe so.
Has there been times that she's called you needing
Yes.
to rearrange things?
Yes.
And then what was your response in a general sense with her?
You know, she would tell me, you know, the reason she needed, you know, or the kids just had something planned, whether it's with friends or whatever. And, you know, I just about always said, you know, that's fine. There's been a couple times where I wasn't able to make that work. Yeah, and that's probably very few.
You heard Mr. Thomas testify about the homecoming. Tell the court from your perspective about homecoming and what happened at that situation.
So, my parents were both able to tell me that they were able to make it to homecoming. And so I attended with them. My stepdad had other things to do that evening. That's why I couldn't, you know, stay because he had to leave. And Ms. Robert had mentioned about me being in a public event, you know, basically stating that I could have stayed with my children or to watch my children in a public place. However, with the way the order of protection had read, I didn't believe that was the case. I was still under the impression that Mr. Thomas had to be present.
And you consulted with me about that as well, correct?
Correct.
Fair to say that instead, just a stance of being overprotective, we decided that no, you can't be in a public place without your father-in-law.
Correct.
So let's go back to where you're living now with Alexis. How big?
Sorry, Judge. No, hang on,
I
no,
got it.
Yeah. it's my hip, hang on. Yeah. Nothing, let me just do it, sorry.
Let's take a recess.
Oh, thank you, sorry, Judge.
You need a recess?
Not fine.
It'll look fine.
I'm good.
So let's talk about then Alexis and this home. How big a home is it?
Just 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
And who lives there?
3 of her daughters and Cecilia.
Okay. So if the kids did come over, the judge did allow you to have visitation there. Do you think there's enough room for the children to spend the night?
Oh, absolutely.
Where would they be sleeping? Sounds like you got a house full there.
We've got 2 sets of triple bunk beds in each bedroom.
Okay. They have any relationship with any of these children already?
Absolutely. They see them every day at their junior pro football cheerleading practices. Every day they see all of them, including my daughter, because Alexis has to take her, you know, majority of the time. That they see each other every day, and their daughters still play with my daughter, Gabriella.
What do you mean by that? Play where? Doing what?
Out in the field working on their cheerleading and running around and
They're cheerleaders together? So they have a decent relationship with each other already. Is that fair enough?
Right.
All right. And again, you're no position with your mother and Mr. Thomas's home being a spot either, correct?
Correct.
Is there plenty of room for them to spend the night there?
Absolutely.
Have they spent the night there yet? They have not, have they?
Not with me being present.
Tell the court as far as today goes, and you're here today, we've already got your final hearing set for February. So we gotta get through the holidays, we gotta get through all of it. Tell the court today for the part of the increased visitation. What are you asking for?
Well, I would like to have just more time with my children. I would like to potentially have some overnights. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, I'd really, really like them to be able to meet their baby sister. She's 9 months already. There's been a lot of time that's passed since, the beginning of all of this to now. I think that would be the best interest of the kids.
Oh, you lost your job, correct?
Correct.
How much this has to do with it? You were working where?
Albemarle, it's in Johnsonville.
I'm sorry,
Albemarle,
that's the plant down the road, correct? And you were terminated,
correct.
and not getting into it. I'll take that back. You can get into it however you want to, but what's been the outcome of the termination?
As far as,
Have there been any issues with why you were terminated?
are you asking for the reason I was terminated?
Well, are you in a union?
Yes,
Okay, and what has the union done about your termination?
they filed a grievance for wrongful termination.
And did you have to agree to that as well?
Yes,
And is that in process?
yes,
Did you feel like it was a wrongful termination?
absolutely.
Right now, though, are you working anywhere?
No, sir.
When did this happen?
I believe it was the 26th or the 25th of September.
Okay. I mean, you've had a good job.
Correct,
I mean, you make good money at this,
correct,
and you worked a lot.
correct.
You got a lot of free time now to spend with your children?
Yes, sir.
If there's any bonus out of that, would that be it?
Yes, sir.
Are you looking for another job now?
Absolutely.
What's your occupation? What's your line of work?
So I was an operator at the time. So I'm actively searching for something else currently.
And we haven't filed anything, but I'm sure we will. That's not on the block for today, but I just wanted the court to know you do have time now to do other things. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Tell the court why you were fired, sir.
So there was a couple days that I left early from work. Just a couple months ago, we got a new plant manager and he looked through everything with fine tooth comb. And he had seen these days that I left and he was contacting my direct supervisor. And basically it wasn't written down, and according to him, if it wasn't documented, it didn't happen. They put me on a probationary period, and the conditions to that was I couldn't be late, had to stay the full shift. And Monday morning that week of getting let go, I couldn't find my keys. I was 10 minutes late for work, and I notified my supervisor as I was supposed to if something came up, and they terminated me on Friday.
Where were you that you couldn't find your keys?
At the house, that's
Whose house?
mine and Alexis.
Okay. Not at your home with your wife and your children?
Correct.
Okay. And you had been put on notice not to be late, and you were,
Correct.
And you were
Couldn't find my
fired.
keys.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. And where are you working now?
I'm not.
You're-
I'm actively searching for something.
You don't have a job at all?
Correct.
How are you paying your child support?
I've been current on everything as of now.
You were behind before. You got behind
When was that?
at the very beginning.
At the very beginning, when I didn't know how much to pay or when to pay because I didn't receive that paperwork yet.
And how are you paying it now with no income?
It's not due yet.
Beg pardon?
It's not due yet. And I will figure it out as that date gets closer.
When did you lose your job?
I believe it was the 25th or 26th of September.
Of September. Okay. And where are you looking for a job?
For really just kind of anything I can find.
Well, specifically, where have you put in applications, sir?
I put in a application for Montgomery County government. And
Doing what?
I'm sorry.
Doing what? Just a general, with their application, any job that they have opened, or is it?
It was really for any they had open.
Okay. I just didn't know whether or not you applied specifically to something like, the street department, the,
No,
whatever.
it was basically anything, availability.
okay. So you're looking for a job, you have to work. I get it.
Absolutely.
And, so we don't know right now what your schedule's gonna be.
Correct.
And you're actively looking, and the only time, you said you've applied, put an application in for one place.
Correct.
No place else?
Not as of now, no.
Why not? I mean,
Because a lot of the places that I looked at, it was either extremely low pay or it was working straight nights, which I would like to not be on straight nights. So for those reasons,
okay. And when is your support due for your children? And
so it was bi-weekly by the time I got paid, and actually I believe it'll be coming up this Friday.
This
Will be
Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have the availability to pay that this Friday?
As of right now, I do not.
Now, you understand the order of protection was issued last year.
Correct.
And it has been lapsed.
Correct.
And it's been lapsed since, I think you appeared in court in May.
I'm sorry, hold on. What does last mean?
The
Like
order of
this
protection
time?
means it's no longer, it was extended for 1 year.
Okay,
It was extended in February of 2024 for 1 year, 11 months and 29 days, so it expired
It's-
in February of 2025. So it is no protection currently.
okay,
So your order of protection has lapsed in the respect that it was issued a year ago in February, and it's lapsed. It's no longer into effect. Did you know that?
no, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Now, you also had bond conditions on your domestic,
Correct.
and you entered a plea or a resolution on that, and it was dismissed.
Correct.
And when was it dismissed?
It was a year from that day, of going to court for it. I'm not sure of the exact date, to be honest with you.
So in fact, there has been no order of protection or bond conditions in existence for quite some time, correct?
I was under the assumption that it was still under effect.
Okay.
And even speaking to Mr. Hawley, he was kind of unclear on how everything read.
The only order that was is any visitation you got was to be supervised by your stepfather, Mr. Thomas.
Correct.
And are you now familiar with the fact that there are no orders of protection, nothing at all that says you can't visit, watch your kids play ball, go to their ball games, any visitation has to be
Judge,
supervised?
I'm going to object just under the aspect this calls for some legal reason. There was a court order that said it had to be supervised by Mr. Thomas. That's the way he took it. That's the way I took it. But as far as the orders of protection, we understand they went away, but there's still that court order. And it's requiring him to make some sort of legal finding or definition in his own mind back to answer that question about what it was when you said that from the bench, because you heard the testimony, you didn't.
Your Honor, if I could respond. The only reason I'm bringing this up is in his direct examination, he was talking about the fact that there was an order of protection in place, and there hasn't been for virtually this entire year. So that's the reason I'm bringing it up. There is no order of protection. It was
needs to be clarified, so I'm taking it that you're clarifying with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is no bond condition, there are no bond conditions, and there is no order of protection. So if he was under the mistaken impression that he was prohibited because of that order of protection from having contact out in public, that is no longer the case. Now, the supervision doesn't apply, in my opinion, to a public event.
Right.
In other words, if your son is playing football or your daughter's cheering, you can attend that because it's a public event without having to worry about supervision. But, that therein lies, I don't necessarily hold that against him. I think it's a situation where it needed to be clarified and
Yes,
is
sir.
now clarified. So,
And that's it, sir. You haven't been under any order other than the fact that any visitation that took place was to be supervised.
As of now, I know that.
Okay. But in fact, even in August, do you remember getting a text message or actually a phone call from your wife, Miss Hinton, Miss Talisa, on the 31st of August of this year, talking about when TJ fell off the trampoline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she contacted you and told you about him cutting his arm pretty badly,
Yes, ma'am.
and that she was on the way to the ER,
Yes, ma'am.
and asked if you wanted to come and be there with your son.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went.
Yes, ma'am. So during this call, I was unsure how the legal side of this would go. So I did contact my parents and stepdad, to get a legal side of this. And, under the circumstances and talking to my stepdad, I did, it was said, yes, it's most likely okay to show up.
So she asked you to.
Correct,
She contacted you, said your son was hurt, and asked you to come.
correct.
And you came and you spent a few minutes with him. They were actually, by the time you got there, they were getting ready to leave.
Correct.
You actually signed the discharge papers.
Correct.
And she had called you, and again, if looking at the thing, she had called you, and it took you an hour to call back.
I'm sorry, when was this?
She contacted you at 6:14 specifically and told you about TJ's accident.
I'm unsure of exactly what time it was.
And then you responded on exactly an hour at 7:14. At the time, I'm going to ask you some questions about responding back here in just a second, but you responded after it was a little bit of time after you got the initial text from her, didn't you? You may not recall.
I don't recall.
Okay. And then you came on up to the emergency room and you text her back at 7:31 saying I'm on my way. And so in that 15-minute kind of time frame is when you communicated with your parents saying, do you think it's okay if I go?
So I believe that once I seen the message out, that's whenever I immediately called them.
Right, when you had seen it.
Correct.
Okay. And were you working that day or were you at home?
I don't recall, to be honest with you.
But you went up there and she hasn't since filed any contempt or said you violated it because she asked you to come.
Correct, and she had also stated that she thought this was over with. And I once again asked Mr. Hawley, and he said due to how everything was worded, that we had to get in front of the judge to clarify it.
Okay. But then when your daughter started having some anxiety issues, and y'all discussed about the fact that she feels and has made statements about you abandoning her and and you've got another daughter.
She hasn't made any of those statements to me.
She hasn't?
No.
Okay. But your wife called you and said, look, she's having some anxiety. She's crying uncontrollably. Can you come and meet me in a public place just so she can put eyes on you?
Correct.
And you refused.
Did not refuse. I contacted Mr. Hawley that day because I wanted a legal aspect of it to ensure that I wasn't going to be in violation of anything.
But you went with your son and didn't go to your daughter. Any conclusion that we can draw on that?
Once again, I was able to reach out to Mr. Hawley, and honestly, if Mr. Hawley wouldn't answer the phone, I probably just went ahead and went because I wanted to, but once again, just didn't want to violate.
Okay. And you got 4 kids. Your girlfriend has 4 children in the household with her. Is that correct?
Well, yes.
There's 4, right?
Yes, ma'am, including the one we share together. Yes.
Well, she's 9 months old.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's 4 children in the household in a 2-bedroom house.
3-bedroom.
3-bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
So you and she have a bedroom and then the kids shared,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
4 kids shared. Give me their ages and genders.
So it's 3 girls. Ages range from 12, 5, and 9.
And those are her children.
Correct.
And then 12, 5, and 9.
Correct.
And then you have a 9-month-old.
Correct.
And then, so those are those. And so how is it divided with these triple bunk beds?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Well, you were talking about you want some visitation with your children, and I'm assuming you're wanting to come to your girlfriend's home.
Yes.
So are the 12 and the 9-year-old in a room and the 5 and the 9-month-old in a room?
So how it is right now is the 12-year-old shares a room by herself as of right now.
Okay, so that's not sharing.
Well, it has her own bedroom at the moment, unless her sons come over and then they all go into the, 1 bedroom.
Whose sons?
Alexis.
And how many are them?
2.
So she has 6 children,
She has 8 total.
8 total. And where are the other 2 you have,
With their father,
so you've got the 2 boys, and who's their father?
Billinghams.
And does he have custody of them?
Correct.
And what visitation does she have with them?
So they've kind of been where it was every other weekend for a while. And now, well, actually, I think it's still every other weekend. I know she's had,
They just don't come. They come when they want to.
the older ones do, which the older ones work and, but it's just about every other weekend.
Okay. And then the 4 girls, which are 3 who are the 3's father? We know the 9-month-old is
Billinghams also.
they're all, okay. And do they visit with their father?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
It's about every other weekend.
Is there a schedule?
Yes.
So where were they this past weekend?
They were with their father this weekend.
Okay. And then you said she has 2 more.
8 total.
What are those other, because we've done the 2 boys and the 4 girls, that's 6.
Mhm.
So where are the other 2?
So 4 of them live with their father.
Okay, are
3
they,
of them live with us.
okay, 3 of them, yeah, 3 live with her. And then y'all's child.
Correct.
You said the 2 boys, and then but who are the other 2 children that would make, or 3 children?
She's got 2 more daughters.
Do what?
She's got 2 more daughters.
Daughters, okay, and how old are they?
6. So her oldest son's 17.
Okay,
Oldest daughter is 15, about to be 16. And the other one, he's 14.
okay, so the ones that don't live with her are 17, 15, 14?
Correct.
So there's just 3 that don't live with her, 3,
Correct.
and then 4, 5, 6, the other 3 live with her. So, and then 7 is your daughter.
Correct.
So where's the 8th is what I'm trying to figure out you said she has 8 kids. You gave me a 17,
Yes, ma'am. She's got 8. She's got
17, 15,
17.
14 that live with the father. And that's 3.
I'm so sorry. It's
No,
kind of
that's
hard to
okay.
all keep up with. He also has another daughter that lives with him, and she's, I believe, 7. That stays with the father.
Okay, so Miss Alexis has a 17-year-old son, a 15-year-old son, a 14-year-old son, and a 7-year-old daughter that lives with
Correct.
the father.
Correct.
Then she has a 12, 5, and a 9-year-old that lives with her.
Correct.
But the 17 and the 7-year-old don't come, just the 15 and the 14-year-old.
Oh, they all come over. So the 17-year-old, he works, so it's kind of hit and miss with him.
So at some point in time, there could be 8, 9, and then 10. You're talking about 11 kids in a 3-bedroom house.
Yes, ma'am.
And what does she do for a living?
She's a CNA.
And where does she work?
Signature help.
And-
So where'd you say she lived?
A CNA.
And is that here or is that in here?
It's in here.
And what hours does she work?
It's 6 to 3.
6A to 3P?
Correct.
And how many days a week?
3 currently.
What days?
It alternates. 1 week is Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Next week it's something else unless she decides to pick up for work.
Okay. And then you worked at the plant down here. What were your hours?
So I was scheduled Monday through Thursday.
Mhm.
It was 12-hour shifts, so 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening.
Did you work 4 days?
Yes, ma'am.
4 12-hour days?
Correct.
So you were working overtime?
Correct.
Okay. And you understand that, and Ms. Hinton has articulated to you that you can visit your parents' house without the necessity of supervision.
Correct.
And you have the availability, you're not working, so you can go over there and visit
Correct.
on weekends.
Correct.
And the kids are there, they're familiar with your parents' home,
Correct.
they have rooms there,
No,
they don't have, they
I
don't.
mean, they have spare bedrooms, but not their assigned room.
Well, again, there's rooms there that they can,
Yeah.
that y'all could spend time together.
Correct.
And they could have, how many rooms is at your parents' home?
4, I believe.
Okay. Now, and there's oftentimes that you and Miss Hinton have worked together to coordinate if there's been issues with visitation.
Yes, ma'am.
Until this, back in September, she dropped the kids off, and 2 hours into the visitation, you called her, specifically on the 7th of September. Is that correct?
Unsure on the date, but it sounds accurate.
Okay. And at the time, you called her 2 hours after you were supposed to be visiting with kids and said, I'm having truck problems.
Correct.
And was there a reason that a few hours later your truck was at the creek?
It's because I was trying to get this truck to run and make sure it was going to drive correctly.
Who was at the creek with you?
It was just me.
Just you
Just me.
out by yourself? You weren't in the truck?
I was in the truck.
Okay. And what time was it that you left and were able to drive?
I'm unsure.
Was it during your visitation time?
I'm unsure.
Who, was there anybody else at this local creek
No,
spot?
no, it was just me, and I was the only vehicle there as well.
And I mean, you just drove there and stopped?
Yes, I did. Actually, the truck died on me.
Okay. Well, and again, you talked about the reason you didn't call her before, so the kids wouldn't have had to get up and go, is that you said, my phone was dead and my charger wasn't working.
Right.
Well, didn't you just recently get angry and turn off your kids' cell phones?
No.
Did you threaten to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
You gave your kids iPhones, I think, was it iPhones 15 or something for Christmas without checking with their mom?
So if I may rewind this, I did not threaten my children to cut their phones off. I was talking to Lisa and informed her. She's always got them, whether it's, football, going to a friend's house, they're going to have to do this with whoever. And for that reason, they don't answer my phone calls, don't answer my texts. And I told her that I've got these phones for them for Christmas, and with the intention of them being able to have an open line of communication with me, and that these phones are a lot of money monthly. And if, they couldn't even respond to a text, then I would be taking phones.
Okay. It takes you over an hour to respond when your child is in the emergency room. You can't show up for visitation. And again, I can go through all of the things. Multiple times you have not responded in a timely manner or a prompt manner, maybe.
So I do believe
Correct.
that every time I've seen her messages, I've replied then. And that one situation about the ER, I was trying to consult with my parents to figure out what was the best course for me to do. And that might have been why it took me so long to
Might
message
have
back.
been.
It was.
So you understand that I'm going to subpoena your records.
That's fine.
And so it's not that you were doing something else and running.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure, not trying to pull any punches on it. But again, you called your kids and she texted you and said they had fallen asleep. Didn't you?
There's been so many times I get that, and that's fine.
Okay. But your kids played football, did cheer before you decided to have an affair and leave your family, didn't they?
So I did not decide to leave those kids. She was the one that wanted me away from the kids.
Well, because you were having sex with another woman.
Okay.
Okay. And had conceived another child with that woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But they played football and went to cheerleading and spent the night with friends, didn't they?
Right.
So why do your children change your life because you decided to have an extramarital affair?
So during that time, I'm unsure of the question here.
Well, you said that you got angry because your wife have the kids going to football and this and spending the night with friends, and that they wouldn't respond to you. But the fact is while y'all were together, your kids played football, did cheerleading, and went to friends' house,
And I'm
didn't they?
also there with them every day.
Okay. So because you're not there, they need to change their schedule to accommodate you. Is that
No.
what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. All I ask is that they have these funds available to them. Just at least a message back.
But you don't live by your own rules, do you?
How so?
Well, 2 hours into the visitation, when your kids, who obviously your stepfather and you talk about how much they enjoyed their time, 2 hours into the scheduled time when you're supposed to be there, you're like, oh my God, I forgot to call and my phone's dead and I don't have a charger that works. Why did you not figure that out 2 hours before your visitation?
Once
time?
again, my vehicle was in an unworking condition.
Not talking about your vehicle, I'm talking about your phone that we need readily available because you're not with your kids and you need to be able to return calls and to promptly let people know where you are. Not talking about driving there, I'm talking about picking up the phone and calling.
How am I supposed to call if I don't have access to a phone?
Well, why didn't you have access to a phone?
Because my phone was dead.
Why did you leave your phone dead?
Because the charger wasn't working.
Well, why didn't you get a new one?
Because my truck wasn't working.
How long did you know your charger had been dead?
So it had been taking a little while to turn on. And that's
How long?
I'm unsure.
Couple, 3 days?
No, absolutely not.
Who else was in the home with you?
When?
Well, when you found these 2 hours into your visitation on the 25th of, on the 7th of September.
I'm unsure.
You don't know if your girlfriend was there?
I'm unsure at that time.
Other kids have phones in that house?
Yes,
Why didn't you ask to borrow one?
because I wasn't there.
Where were you?
Well, I was starting to go to internet and my truck died once again
So you were stranded on the side of the road?
at one point, and it started up. And I was trying to get at least drive 70 to make sure it wasn't, going to continue to mess up, because I didn't want to get on Highway 13 on all them curves and my truck just die and risk getting hit.
What time were you supposed to be at your parents' house?
So it's normally 8 or 9 in the morning.
Well, what time? That day, what time were you supposed to be there?
9, I believe.
What were you doing at 8 o'clock that morning?
I'm unsure. That was a while ago.
Did you get in the car? Well, it's just less than a month ago.
Okay, and I've had a lot go on within that time frame.
What?
I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't remember exactly.
Well, sir, again, you couldn't call and show up at a visitation. Then you call your children and you get upset and you call Miss Hinton on the 25th of September saying that you had called and the kids' cell phones kept going to voicemail.
So,
And she told you, did she not? I'm sorry, the kids fell asleep early last night and forgot to put their phones on the charger.
and that's fine.
And we had she went on to tell you that they had an appointment that morning. And she let you know that TJ's phone charger in the car wasn't working.
And that's fine. What I was really hoping to get out of that was maybe a little nudge from her, like, hey, have you talked to your dad? Has he messaged you? That's what I was hoping for out of that conversation. And that's why I never brought it up to my kids as far as turning off their phones.
But you sent the message and said, I am turning their phones off and taking them away from the kids. That was your direct text message. The next visitation that is going to go, I'm turning off their phones and taking them away.
And I never did take them away, and I didn't I turned them off that night, but I turned them right
Because they tried
back
to
on.
call you that night.
Yes, ma'am.
So when I asked you, did you turn the kid's phone off earlier, you said, no, I never did. And you lied. You just lied.
I turned it off and turned it right back on. So,
Well, why did you tell the judge something that was not true when I asked you a simple question, sir? It wasn't complicated. Did you turn the kid's phone off? No. Nope. That was what you said.
I was under the assumption that you was talking about them still currently being on.
Why Why should your kids be held to a higher standard than you can achieve yourself, sir?
I'm not asking them to.
You have no job. You're living with your paramour in a home with multiple children with no place for your children and you to have privacy, correct?
Correct.
You understand your children are traumatized and they're in therapy over the fact of the breakup of yours and your wife's marriage.
Be honest, I hear the stories of them being traumatized, but that is not what I see whenever they're with me.
Because they love being with you and with you.
Okay, so can I ask a question? How is it that she can have men around those children but yet try to dictate me,
Well, who?
Brandon Skelton?
And how do you know that?
The kids have told me.
Kids have told you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're questioning your children about what they're doing with their mother?
No, I'm asking, how is it that
She didn't get charged to get order protection. She didn't get charged with criminal domestic assault and have to go through anger management. She's been there with your children the whole time. Do you acknowledge that fact, sir?
yes,
She's got the kids to school every day, carried them to the doctor, text you each and every time things have happened and say, hey, this has happened, that's happened. She's done that, hasn't she?
yes,
She's tried to involve you in the counseling program.
no.
Have you reached out to talk to the counselor or scheduled family therapy like the court wanted you to do?
So I did attempt to schedule that, and the therapist had told me that she did not recommend that the best thing for the kids would be the visitations with me instead of going to counseling.
What therapist did you talk to?
Megan Hill, I believe is her name.
Okay. Did you talk to the kids therapist?
It's the same therapist.
Okay. So no, that is the kids therapist?
It's theirs and mine.
Okay. Not the kids therapist. Child's therapist is somebody else. April, what do we think? What is her name?
I believe we went through this a while back.
I get to go through it again, sir. What is the children's therapist?
Oh
name?
no, I was just saying. I'm sorry. I believe it's Megan Hill, Megan Hall.
Okay. And that's who you spoke to?
Yes, and I believe I'd even spoke with Mr. Hawley, and because this question was brought up again, and he reached out, and she agreed that she was also the one that had been seeing the kids.
Okay. And that's what I'm asking. Was it the children's therapist that you talked to?
Yes.
And she advised you that the kids just needed to deal with it on their own terms?
She advised me that the best treatment for them would be visitation with me.
Okay. And when was that conversation?
I'm unsure.
Before we started the supervised visits?
No, it was after. It might have been before. I'm unsure.
If I could have a minute, Your Honor. That's all, Your Honor.
If the court allows visitation at your mother and Mr. Thomas's home, I keep saying that with your mother and her husband, is that something that can happen?
Yes, sir.
Overnights, all that,
Yes,
you
yes.
cleared it with them and they're good to go.
Yes, sir.
And again, you're asking that they have some sort of contact as well with their new sibling.
Yes, sir.
And how important is the contact between the sibling and the children? You feel?
And how important is it to me?
Mhm.
Utmost importance.
All right, that's all I have.
How important it is to deal with your daughter and son with Ms. Hinton's mental health.
I'm sorry.
How important is it to you to deal with your children's mental health?
Also, the most important.
And your daughter is 9 months old,
Correct.
and you've said that you've been with her by yourself, and
Correct.
that's interfered somehow with you being able to communicate with your
Correct.
other children.
Correct.
How?
Because I was told I was not supposed to have any type of introduction of this child to my kids, And it would be, she's crying, don't feel good, whatever. So she's constantly screaming. So I obviously can't just lay her down on the floor and walk out to call my other two kids.
So every time you try to call your two children with Miss Talisa, your youngest child has been crying.
No, not every time.
That's what I couldn't understand, why you couldn't just step away while she's taking a nap or doing something and call your kids.
It's not every time, it's an interference.
Because again, we've set up time. Haven't you and Miss Hinton agreed you're gonna call TJ on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you're gonna call Gabby on Wednesdays and Fridays, so you have different times?
Correct.
And there's been a lot of times that you just haven't done that, isn't there?
And there's a lot of times that I've spoke to both of them at the same time if I had to miss a call, due to being at work, working one week days, one week nights, it makes it pretty complicated, especially if I go into work and I'm not able to even get a first break until around 10 o'clock. That's obviously too late to call my kids, but the next time that I call, I try to speak to both of them.
All right, thank you, sir.
So right now you have alternating from Saturday to Sunday, week to week, but you have 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Correct.
Simple. All right, we'll stand in recess. Ms. Roberts, you
Your Honor, I would call Miss Hinton.
come up, please. Be ready to stand and raise your right hand. Please, professional word.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall now give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you. I'm going to ask you to remember this. You have to kind of scoot up close there and speak directly into that.
You're Talisa Hinton, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Hinton, we've got a divorce case pending wherein I'm representing you on the divorce, and you've got 2 kids with Mr. Hinton here, is that correct? What are their names and ages?
Stephon Hinton Jr., 11, and Gabriella Lucia, she is
And what grades are they in school?
6th grade and 4th.
And again, we're not here to try the divorce. Initially, we came to court and he didn't have any residential time because of an existing order of protection that the kids were involved in, is that correct? After that, we came back to court and he started having some residential time with the children, is that right? And can you tell us what that was?
It started on Christmas Day. It was 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And then every other weekend from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. or 1 p.m.
Okay. And was it every other weekend?
Or every weekend, but we alternate days. But our kids have always been really involved in sports. So we kind of work together. Some days we stick strictly to Saturdays. Sometimes we stick strictly to Sundays.
Okay. But for the most part, you and he have been able to work everything out
Yes.
and have gotten along for the most part.
Yes.
You still have a close relationship with his parents.
Yes.
And in fact, I think they're your landlords.
Yes.
Is that correct? And has the visitation for the most part gone fine?
Yes.
Have your children, in your estimation, have you witnessed some issues that has caused you concern about how they're adapting to this separation and divorce, ultimate divorce?
Gabby's anxiety has been a thing since, I say, February or March.
Okay. And did you seek assistance, professional assistance in dealing with
Yes,
that?
I brought it up to her therapist right away, and we thought we got a good control of it. And we lowered the visits to monthly, and then with her starting up again, they're back now to every 2 weeks.
Okay. So you initially went, and who is the therapist?
Making help
And where is she located?
in Camden.
Okay. And so you initially started, and what type of anxiety? Describe how the kids, or particularly Gabby, would react
Gabby's been having a lot of separation anxiety from me.
from you.
Yes.
Okay. And what would she do?
There's some mornings when I drop her off at school, she's crying, telling me she can't get out, that she can't breathe, she gets lightheaded. I've talked to the ladies up front at Lakeview because they were aware of Gabby's situation. And there's sometimes where Gabby is tugging at my clothes, crying uncontrollably, like, please don't leave me home.
And she's addressed that in therapy.
Yes.
And are you concerned that you've increased the therapy now?
Yes. They have an appointment. Stephon has an appointment tomorrow morning, and then Gabrielle has an appointment Thursday.
Okay. And you've been carrying them and they've had to miss school and do that, trying to deal with this. Is that correct?
Yes, so I have talked with the school and I let them know that they are currently in therapy. So whenever I check them out, I bring them back in and I have a note to show them.
But you're doing all of that.
Yes,
And has their father, is there suggestions or anything for their father to get involved in it?
I will down now.
Okay. But that is,
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
as of now, no.
no.
But that is something is working towards, is that correct? And there, his supervision his visitation is now supervised by his stepfather, is that correct?
Yes,
Do you think it's progressed to the point of where he need all of the criminal stuff, he's done his anger management, and you and he have been able to get along, is that correct?
yes.
Do you think it's to the point of where that the need for eyes on him, watching the kids and having conversations with them is necessary at this point in time?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think that he still needs to be supervised?
Oh, no.
Okay. In fact, he's had unsupervised communication with them for quite some time. Is that right?
Mhm.
Even though his visitation is supposed to be supervised, did he buy phones for them at Christmas, his first visitation? Okay. Did he talk with you or clear that with you?
No.
Okay. Now, and we haven't sought any type of protection from the court, but you've allowed them to have unsupervised communications with them using that phone. Is that right? Do you think it's, since you weren't discussed or even brought into the loop about the phone, you heard him testify that he wants you to nudge them and make sure that their
I
phones
do.
are charged and all of that stuff so that he can have ready access to the kids? Do you do that?
They do usually on a daily basis charge their phones overnight. But like I said the other night, with baseball or football and cheer here, it gets kind of hectic at night. Because we get home, we need to shower, we need to eat. Even though sometimes we eat before we go to the field, my kids are hungry afterwards.
Okay. But he sent you a text, did he not, saying he was gonna turn it off?
Yes.
Do
And
you encourage the kids to call him?
yes,
And in fact, did they call him?
yes.
And were they able to make communication,
No.
contact with them?
I texted him and he said that they needed to call off.
Okay.
Try to call off my phone.
Well, and you heard him say initially he didn't turn them off, and then he did finally admit that he did turn off the kids' phones because they weren't responding to him when he wanted to. Okay. Do you think allowing them to go and him to have visitation anywhere at his parents' home is appropriate at this time for your children?
As long as it's at his parents' home.
You don't want him to, you've heard him testify that there's 8 kids coming and going at any period of time in the home that is where he's staying with his girlfriend. Did you know, did he communicate with you and tell you that he had just been fired a few
No.
weeks ago?
That was my first time hearing about it.
Okay. And have there been occasions that you've tried to accommodate his schedule
Yes,
and done double visitations?
yes,
And by the same token, when the kids are sick, do you notify him?
yes.
And
I think I've done it late once. It was suddenly because after I got Gabriella and TJ up, they were running a fever.
And did you immediately call him and let him know? What about this 2-hour delay? Did you drop the kids off back on September 7th?
Yes, ma'am. I usually leave the house around, depending if I need to put gas in the morning, I'll leave by 7:45 or 8
So you can be there at what time?
before night.
Okay. And where are you carrying the kids to?
Here in Tennessee.
Okay, so his parents live in Erin. And you're getting up on a Saturday or a Sunday and driving your kids to Erin and then going back and picking them up? Or do they bring them home?
They will meet me in Waverly, whether it's at my sister-in-law's apartment or we meet at Walmart for the funeral home parking lot.
Okay. And so you dropped him off back on the 7th,
Mhm.
not knowing he wasn't there. Did the parents call and say, hey, he hasn't shown up yet?
I just got text messages from my kids saying, hey, mom, dad's not here.
Okay. And then did you reach out to him or did he finally contact
I just told him, I was like, maybe he's running a little late, just hold off. And then it wasn't until when I got his text message.
you? Okay. And then on your way back, did you see his car at the creek?
Yes, because I was actually on my way to pick them up a little bit earlier because we had an away game scheduled.
Okay. And you found his car?
Yes.
Did you see him or were there other people around?
No, I just saw his truck there.
But he had said he couldn't make it.
Yes.
Do you want your kids around his paramour
No,
at all?
No.
Do you want them in her home?
no,
If he's able to find and secure a different home to visit with the kids, to go eat with them on a Saturday or a Sunday from the Times, do you have a problem with that? At some point in time, do you think it's going to be appropriate for them to be introduced to their half sibling?
yes, when they were ready.
Okay. But it's when the children are ready.
Yes,
And are you working towards that in therapy?
yes. It is something that Gabriella talks to me about, and it's something we talk a lot about with her therapist as well.
Okay. And do you try to encourage that?
Yes, because I'm fully aware that even though, we have had our separation, they still have another sibling.
Okay. But you want to do it on their terms, not
Yes,
not hers
not his.
and not his, correct? Okay. So you're asking the court to leave the visitation hours the same on Saturday or Sunday, but to allow him to either do it at his parents' home or he can go carry him out to dinner, do things. And have you ever had a problem with him coming to some public event, to ball games, to practices, and to
No, and I've always been sure to send him schedules and we'll keep them up to date because the kids are involved in everything. We've always had access to
Okay.
our kids.
After this 2-hour late session, you kind of lost it with him at one point in time, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
You sent a not too nice text messages to him.
I had enough.
Okay. Do you want him to make your children a priority?
Yes, ma'am. It really hurts when you see your kids struggling.
He had a really good relationship with them, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Were y'all a close family and do things together and
Absolutely.
go to ball games and
Ball games, extracurricular activities, everything.
have you seen the fact that he's just left and gone? Has it really adversely affected them?
Yes.
Do you want them to get back to a natural relationship that they had when y'all were a family? You understand they're going to have a family with them and with you. But do you want to do it so that it is less impact and so the kids have a healthy relationship with him?
Yes, absolutely.
Not concerned about the relationship with whoever he's with.
No.
Or her children.
No.
That's all. Thank you.
Holly, we'll talk to Jim.
Yes, sir. I'm just at resolve. He's caught up on all the financial payments,
Yes.
not behind. How much was he paying in child support?
Well,
$12.99 a month? Okay. And there was, at times, there was some spousal support or division of marital debts he was paying on as well, correct? How much was that?
1050.
$1,050? Okay. So $12.99 a month in child support. And then $1,050 in division of marital debt, spousal support type payment. Is that $1,050 still ongoing today?
Yes.
Okay. If fair to say he's paying you quite a bit of money.
Yes.
So it sounds like from listening to your testimony here, you're okay with unsupervised visitation at this point. Is that accurate?
Yes.
You just want it to basically be over at his parents' house instead of over at Alexis's house. Fair enough? Okay. You don't have any problem over at his parents' house? Have you had any problem over at his parents' house? You guys have a good relationship, all that? So it's fair to say the kids know each other. I mean, your two kids know all of her, or the children that are staying with her now. There was a 12, 9, and 5-year-old that are staying with her. And the kids know each other. Is that fair enough?
Yeah. So there's a part of the same program.
Same program being like the cheerleading squad.
Where would you approach? Yes. They're in the same cheerleading program, but each different divisions.
You used to call it a squad in school. I don't know if they use that word anymore. But the cheerleading squad, they're part of the same squad. Is that fair? Yes. Okay. So they see each other every practice. They see each other at school. They're at the games.
Not at school. We go to different schools.
Okay.
Program. Yes.
I haven't heard that they've had a bad relationship with each other. They seem like, from talking to Mr. Hinton, they get along. Is that fair?
It hasn't been about the children. The children can get along.
This is mainly about Miss Alexis.
Yes, because Gabby does have hard feelings towards the whole situation and so it's teacher.
So you said he got the phones, but he didn't ask you about them.
Yes.
I mean, he was familiar that he had asked you about them. At least he thought he had. You're pretty clear that he had not.
He never asked me about phones.
And he got him some newer iPhones. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So I'm asking you an open-ended question. I mean, other than Gabby's situation with what you're talking about in the therapy side of things, let's focus on Miss Alexis for a minute. Just the person, Miss Alexis. As far as Miss Alexis goes, what reasons would there be specifically about her? You know, she drank all the time. She do drugs. She beat kids. You know, what is wrong with her being around children? that
Your Honor,
you
with
know
all due respect, there's a court order stating that she will not be around the child, and that issue is not before the court subject to relevance.
Well, we're asking for increased visitation, and you may very well consider that today.
Your Honor,
I'm gonna allow him to go into it, but, I agree with you that there's no specific request to remove that portion, but it may go to his expanded visitation request as to where he's gonna be exercising the visitation.
So as far as Ms. Alexis goes, what would you say about her as an individual, that she couldn't be around children in general, your children, that kind of thing? Is there any specific reasoning for that?
Reasoning that my children are fully aware of the situation.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Ms. Alexis as a person. Is there any reason she shouldn't be around children? Is there any reason that Ms. Alexis that you know of should not be around children in general?
Your Honor, I didn't object to overly broad. I don't understand the question in the context, why it's relevant, what she believes why she shouldn't be around her children, but around any other children is not really an issue before the court. There's a court order stating that this woman will not be around these children, period.
The objection is as to relevance when you ask a broad question such as, is there any reason she shouldn't be around children?
Exactly.
So I sustain the objection.
So as far as Ms. Alexis, do you know if she been with DCS and gotten in trouble with children?
I'm not entirely too sure. I don't keep up with it.
Okay. So you don't know of any reasons that she would have criminally or any mental reasons, any drug addictions, anything like that?
I do not speak with her. So I would not know.
Can I have this moment?
Well,
That's all I have.
read away.
Miss Alexa was your daughter Gabby's cheer coach.
Correct.
And again, under those guises, did she start your husband started a sexual relationship with her?
Yes,
Do you want to really get into in a context of explaining to your daughter outside the therapeutic realm about that relationship and what happened and how it makes her feel?
No.
You think it's important for her to address that in therapy rather than you being the
Yes.
one that talks to her about it?
yes, ma'am.
Is that an issue that you know is addressed in therapy?
Yes.
And do you believe that the therapist needs to let your daughter explore those feelings before this woman, just because she has sex with your husband, gets thrust in your daughter's life?
Yes.
That's
What is the name of the therapist that your daughter's saying?
Megan Hill.
Megan Hale,
HME,
and where is she located?
and Captain.
Anything else?
To be fair though, I mean, you've moved on and seen someone else as well, correct?
Objection outside the scope of redirect.
Where we're talking about relationships and how it shouldn't be, Alexis shouldn't be cast into that situation. If she's been doing the same thing, that's where I'm going with this.
I'm gonna sustain the objection, but you can recall her as a witness on your rebuttal case if you wish to do it that way. The rule is that you can't ask questions outside on recross that are outside the redirect. But as a practical matter, by me sustaining the objection, saying don't do that, then he can recall her as a witness in his rebuttal proof, which means she'll step off and then step back up. Rather than go through that exercise, I'm going to allow him to ask the questions.
May I just ask what we're rebutting? His is to come back on rebuttal is to rebut what was placed in.
The rebuttal proof in the custody case and it's pretty wide open. She's made comments about his having this relationship. I think it's fair that she be asked about any relationship she may be in and whether that person is around her children.
So you've moved on, you've been seeing somebody else, correct? And you've had them around the children, correct?
Not right away.
They've been around the children, correct?
Yes,
And he spent the night over there, correct?
yes.
And it's fairly frequent that he would spend the night over there, correct?
Not frequent.
All right. But he spends the night, wakes up with the kids are in the home and that kind of thing, correct?
He did a few times.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anything further, Ms. Roberts?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You must sit down. Sorry, next witness.
That's our approach, Your Honor.
Rebuttal proof on Mr. Holly.
No, Judge.
We heard an argument. I'll hear an argument.
Well, I think the court's got the gist of everything. We're asking for him to have some unsupervised visitation, a reasonable unsupervised visitation at this point. I think as a parent, he definitely qualifies for that. And I understand the trailer, Miss Alexis' house, a little busy over there. I get that part. He's willing to do anything this court orders him to do. We were trying to do that with supervision with Mr. Thomas. I know there had been some question about being in a public place or not. But, you know, you go to these games, you watch your kids play, you always go down and say, good job. If you don't do that, they wonder why you didn't go down and talk to them. And if she goes down and he goes down, and does that, Mr. Thomas isn't around, is that a violation of the court order? I think it is, when I read these things. And I want to make sure that I'm doing what the court orders to be done. So it's hopefully be out of the way with this order. If he has some reason not to be supervised, all that stuff will go away. That's what he's asking for. We're asking for something around it every other weekend. He's got plenty of time now because he's off from work. I'm going to have to file to modify this. I just learned of this the other day. I haven't got to file it yet. I got to go back to the office and do that. But he's got plenty of time, maybe every other weekend, an afternoon or two out of the weekday or whatever that turns out to be. We've got to deal with these holidays. So of course, we're going to have to lay out, because our final hearing now is in February. We're going to have to deal with Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And we're just asking for something reasonable under those lines. If the court puts it in his parents' house, so be it. That's exactly what he will do. The bigger issue is, can he have the kids around, Alexis or around her children at that point? We don't see any reason why that can't happen. They already know each other. They're already on the same cheer squad. They're already buddies. They know her from being in the middle of cheer as well. So for someone to dictate, who you can and who you can't be around, when at the same time she's doing the same thing with, a man in her house, spending the night, waking up and eating Cheerios with the kids. The kids have to deal with all of this, and I imagine they do need some counseling. I'm glad they're in it, for them to be able to deal with all of this together. But at the same time, I don't know that there's been any real reason to put forward that, there couldn't be some integration with the sibling. They do have a sibling. They've got a half brother over here, and they need to be able to see that child. So we're asking for that to be able to take place as well. Thank you for your time.
Again, it's our position that there was an order of protection that was granted in this case where Mr. Hinton was found to be a primary aggressor and based on the fact that an order of protection was issued for the mother and the children, that he was a credible threat of harm to both of those individuals, to all three of those individuals. My client has tried to work with him to maintain a relationship with these kids, has gone above and beyond in giving him notice, trying to encourage him to have a relationship. And again, taking his testimony, particularly on cross-examination, Your Honor, the man's just not truthful. Or he just doesn't know. You're talking about, my client has no problem with unsupervised visitation, but it needs to be between the father and the children. And again, he has no place to live. He is staying with his paramour in a home that is 3-bedroom, that's got triple bunk beds with her 8 children, 7 of which are in and out, and then their 9-month-old. To put these kids in that situation, and again, who knows when that relationship is going to go. I think that he has been less than truthful about that relationship, and we'll deal with that at the final hearing about things that he's failed to disclose. But the fact is he doesn't have a place to live. That's why he needs visitation at his parents' home. And we don't have a problem with leaving it the same way or every other weekend. But again, the man got fired less than a week and a half ago. Now he has no income. He has a payment due on Friday that he has no available way to pay it. So there's no satisfactory place for him to exercise visitation other than his parents' house. And again, he's going to have to take a job. And he himself said either it's low wages or it's nights. So what we would request, there's nothing to indicate that my client has been abusive or non-cooperative. Leave the visitation, remove the supervision provision. He can exercise at the parents' home, but he can go places with the children so long as Miss Alexis is not there. And we would ask, Your Honor, to not have him introduce this child yet until the therapist says it's an appropriate time and place to do that. We need to deal with the issues with it, particularly that Miss Gabby has been having. It's uncontroverted. He told her that the testimony of Mr. Hinton stated that she has articulated that. She has articulated the fact that Gabby's still having issues. And we need to let that flesh out in therapy. We don't have a hearing until February. If he calls and says, I'd like to do this or that, give him every other weekend, let him carry the children to places and to go places with them, or leave it the same and see if they can get along and expand it and use it as a measuring tool. But we do think it's and that it should be that his paramour, the mother of his latest child, should not be allowed the visitation at this point in time. There's no motion requesting that be lifted. She's offered no testimony. And again, I think I know why, but again, we would address that. We anticipated that she was going to take the witness stand today, but she's not. This man has no right to live in that house, has no possessory interest in that house. He's effectively homeless unless she can kick him out at any point in time. So again, I think leaving the visitation the way it is, but lifting the supervision, but leaving the provision that she can have no contact with the child would be appropriate for the best interest.
Always disappointing to see how people can screw up their lives. And in this particular situation, as in most of those situations, the children are involved. The children are the ones who pay the price. So we now have a situation where Mr. Hinton is involved in a relationship with a woman who has 8 children, and under those that are varying ages, and they come and go out of her house. She has a child with him, and is 9 months old. And I would have to agree that the mobile home trailer, whatever you want to call it, where this lady lives is hardly what I would consider to be an advantageous setting for these children to go into, or just throw them into that situation when they've been having supervised visitation. Eventually, those children are going to have contact with their other sibling. Um, I understand that you may have some animosity towards this lady that results from the circumstances under which they began the relationship. But if the two of you are going to be divorced, then he's going to have a life and you're going to have a life. You've already moved on with someone else in your life. And so it's kind of hypocritical, if you want to call it that, for you to object in a sense to him having a relationship that where this person's around the children when you have someone in your life. But your relationship with that individual didn't start in the same manner and was not under the same circumstances and has not had the impact on the children according to the testimony that his relationship with this lady has had. For that reason, and because of the fact that there was no specific request to relieve or to amend that prior order regarding Miss Alexis being around his children, it is my opinion that the visitation does need to be unsupervised, so I'm granting the request to make it unsupervised. He will be required to exercise that visitation at his parents' home because I do not find that the home where Miss Alexis has is appropriate for the children at the present time. Secondly, I am of the opinion that to move towards a more normal relationship, his time with the children should be expanded. So presently you're going one weekend on Saturday, one on Sunday, but only from 9 to 1. So that will be expanded. And for the next 3 weeks, he will have from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. He'll have a full day. And then next weekend it'll be on Sunday or whatever. That'll go on for 3 weeks. On the fourth weekend, he will have from 9 a.m. Saturday to 6 p.m. Sunday. He'll have an overnight. Again, all of this has to be exercised at his parents' home. And that will be the schedule that will continue until such time as we have an additional hearing or whatever. I'm not giving him weekday visitation because I expect him to go find a job. I don't think he can just sit back and say, well, I'm out of work, so I'm going to have visitation during the week. He needs to be out there looking for a job, and I think he will. But if I start setting specific visitation during the week, then it puts him in a bind about finding a job because he's going to miss out on full visitation. I don't want that. So, but with that proviso, this order will contain a provision that says that if he is available at other times and places, then the two of you may agree. And of course, the court will look to how agreeable. I think you've worked with him well, so I'm not expecting there to be a problem. But that will be a factor that, if he asks for additional time and you refuse it arbitrarily, that's a factor that a court will consider at the final hearing. So just keep that in mind. I don't expect that to be the case. I don't have that impression from you, but it is a factor that I want you to be aware of. But that gives him the option to have some additional time beyond this every other weekend visitation once that starts. And you've got Thanksgiving coming up. That'll be the next time, and you won't be in court before then. So for Thanksgiving weekend, that will be equally divided. And if it's his weekend to have the children on every other week, every other weekend, then he'll get them again Saturday to Sunday. But if it's not his weekend, then he will get Thanksgiving Day and Friday. And we'll just pick them up at 9 a.m. Let's make it, to share that, let's make it 1 o'clock Thanksgiving Day. That way you can have Thanksgiving Day if it's his time to have it. And then Christmas goes around. Obviously, he needs to have time with the children. I expect you two can work that out if you can't. You get it made, but he needs to be able to see the children during the Christmas holidays and even have some expanded time with them when they're out of school for the Christmas holidays. That'll put you into the new year, and hopefully by then you two will have resolved this issue.
Yes, sir.
Your children didn't ask for this divorce. They didn't ask for you to go out and have a relationship that landed them with a new sibling that they don't know anything about, or if they know about it, they don't know that person or that sibling. So you got to keep in mind that fact. the reason that I'm not granting your request to have this lady around is because of the fact that I am deferring that to the therapist, and I asked for the therapist's name, Ms. Hale. Upon Ms. Hale recommending that these children can have contact with and should be able to be around the sibling that they have not yet met, then that will be implemented and that child can be included in the visitation. But if the therapist says, Gabby, is that your daughter's name?
Yes.
Okay. If she's still struggling with it and until the therapist says it's good for her to be introduced to this child, I'm not ordering it now. That's gonna happen, that's down the road. So I'm only taking this slow step to ensure that the therapy she's already in is not countervailing time, that we're following what the recommendations are of the therapist. Now, if Mr. Hinton needs to be involved in that therapy, then he has the right to contact the therapist to discuss with the therapist, and that order should contain the fact that he's allowed to have contact with your daughter's therapist and to discuss things so that he's aware of what's going on. So, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Been perfectly clear, like public events, all this stuff, he can go there.
He can go to any public event, say, go up to his children, say whatever he wants to say. Well, be, obviously mindful of how he's talking to them, and let's make sure that nobody's talking badly about the other one. The children don't deserve to have one parent bad mouthing the other one. So I don't want to hear that you've said to the children, well, your mom's doing the same thing, but I can't bring you around my other family. And same thing with him. He's not supposed to be talking about you to these children. Let's leave them as isolated as you can from the controversy that the two of you have, and make sure that their best interest is what you're thinking about.
And I want to clarify, Your Honor, and make sure that I'm reading into your order correctly. My client doesn't have a problem. He's to spend the night and exercise the visitation at the parent's home, but he's free to
Sure.
carry him to the Mexican, carry him out to McDonald's or go to the park, or if they have a ball game that day, he can carry him there. It's just a scenario where we don't do any of this. Oh, I accidentally ran into her.
Well,
And
the
the
problem's
kids.
going to be, yes, that's true. You can do all of those things. I can foresee the problem right now that's going to happen when her children and his children, their children, are all on the same football team or cheer teams and things. They're going to be at the same event. All I can say is that any casual interaction at that point is not going to violate my order. But by the same token, I don't want him hustling the kids over to say hello to this lady and, to go out of their way.
Right.
Just keep in mind, this is all, again, trying to minimize the impact that this situation has on your children. And if you think about it in those terms, then you're going to follow my instructions. And if you don't, then you'll be minimizing your time with the children. So hopefully you understand that. All right, who's on the order? Mr.
I'll
Hawley?
draft the order and send it to Ms. Robertson.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
This,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, this courthouse
Because,
Always
he can just.
allergic reaction to something.